Ark Survival Evolved has a myriad of cool and unique biomes. Working as kind of a survival guide of sorts, this new series is going to give you the information you need to survive in each one. The beach is easily the most hospitable part of the map, working as a great starter location for the game ahead. Containing only herbivores and low-level carnivores, the beach is really tailored in your favor. The main resources you can find there include circular rocks that contain a mass quantity of metal, palm trees with a thatch to wood ratio of 9:1. Seriously guys, you could have done way better here. Various types of vegetation, mainly including bushes that drop different types of berries. Some of those berries are Amar berries, Azul berries, Mijo berries, Narco berries, Stem berries, and Tinto berries. Amar, Azul, Mijo, all of which feed the player and herbivores alike, with Mijo berries being the best for taming. Narco berries, which do exactly what they sound like, work as an early game narcotic to knock out players and dinosaurs alike. And Stem berries, which wakes them up. Before we get into creatures, I want to put a disclaimer. At the end of each summary, I will be putting each dinosaur into a tier list, ranking them on how powerful they are, how well they can survive in the current meta of the game, and how useful they are overall. With that said, let's get into the creatures that roam the coastline. Parasaurus, the most common dinosaur roaming the coastline. You can encounter these guys pretty much everywhere. With a tall, stocky build made for running, that's mostly what you'll be seeing them doing. Despite them being one of the biggest dinosaurs on the beach, they'll actively avoid conflict by sprinting away at full speed. This makes it relatively difficult to tame them early game. The recommended methods are a bolo and a simple club. Once you do tame one, they can be extremely useful for collecting various types of berries and fruit. They are herbivores, so they only eat berries. They're fairly useful in combat, mainly being a scout dinosaur, or even at times a bullet sponge to absorb the damage. They have this extremely useful ability called sonar, where they can detect any nearby threats just with a click of a button. I didn't use it as much as I should have in my playthrough, but if I did, I could have prevented a lot of dinosaur loss. Pterosaurs get a C tier. They get bodied way too hard. The Mosstrops, definitely an interesting dinosaur. With a large blubbery exterior, they're practically immune to blunt attacks, and can shrug off stab attacks with ease. They won't fight back though, they run away much like a parasaur. The taming methods are quite unusual. They are live tame, although they're very specific with what foods they want. They will change their cravings every time they're ready to eat again. 1 minute they could want a simple Tinto berry, the next they want raw prime fish meat. It usually doesn't take more than 2 or 3 feedings for it to be yours, but that can take a lot of work considering you might have to go all the way to the swamp and back to get a rare species of mushroom. One of the most convenient things about them is once they are tamed, they don't require a saddle to ride, which is extremely useful early game. Mosstrops are omnivores, which means they eat both meat and berries alike, which comes in handy if you only have one to spare. B tier. Trilobites, a small coast-dwelling crustacean that physically can't pose a threat to anyone or anything. Their only purpose is to provide the player with resources. They drop a giant abundance of chitin and keratin. Chitin/keratin is used in the production of a large number of things in Ark, all the way from various saddles to cementing paste. All in all, I rate the Trilobite a C tier. They're basically just portable supplies that just walks around. It's really nothing special. Trilobites get a E tier. Introducing the Dilophosaur, the most prevalent carnivore on the beach. You can encounter these guys surrounding the beach, usually harassing parasaurs and mosstrops alike. They're actually a fair threat early game considering they have a special move which lets them spit green acid which blinds you and temporarily stuns you. But once you do tame them, you can use this ability for good. The taming methods are just the usual knock them out and force feed them, nothing special. Overall, Dilos get an A tier. The Listerosaurus, what many people claim to be the cutest dinosaur. Personally, I prefer the bulldog, but I digress. Listerosaurs are exactly what they look like, a chunky lizard with low stats across the board. They are a live tame, and an easy one at that, for they are herbivores, and will eat any berry you provide them with. I know I've made a bad case for them during this entire summary, but they do have one useful ability. When they are in a certain proximity with you / your dinosaurs, he will give you a slight XP boost. So, yeah. Listerosaurus share C tier with Parasaurus. Spinosaurus, more commonly called Spinos, are one of the largest dinosaurs on the beach, let alone the whole map, only being beat by 9 dinosaurs when it comes to size. They are purely carnivores who attack anything with a heartbeat. Wait, no, scratch that. The fact that they are semi-aquatic makes them unique and really diversifies them from other carnivores. They are a real danger both early game and mid game, dealing great amounts of damage and being extremely versatile in every terrain, especially water. Once they are tamed, they can take on nearly every threat in the beach, forest, and ocean metas. They get an S tier. They are extremely overpowered in every biome that they inhabit. It's 4 AM, I'm tired. Pterodons are easily the most common flyer in the current meta, being an extraordinary early game dinosaur. While taming, keep in mind, once you / anything attacks it, it will immediately fly away at mass velocity, so it's best to have a bola on you. Speaking of taming, the best ways to tame them early game are a bolo and a club. Or a bow with a bolo. Basically anything with a bolo. They are purely carnivorous, only eating meat. Keep in mind they take an enormous amount of time to tame, despite what you feed them. Their ability to move away from predators really increases their chances of survival. Overall, they get an A tier. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's 5:15 AM. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Good night, everyone. Ah!